Before we get started, can you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves? Jason, how about you? Go first. My name is Jason Shaw. I've been in the industry for 22 years. I'm a certified installer, and I missed the one. I own a company called Blue Bear Energy Services. Hello, my name is Kevin Ruffin. I'm an electrician I'm a solar installer. Hi, my name is Mikey Plummer, and I'm an electrician with automated controls. Hello, my name is Jeremy Richards, and I am an installer for Axium Solar. Thank you.
My name's David.
We got a sign.
I'm one of the
translator.
I've been with Axium about 8 years. I've been also an installer.
I've been working for about 8 years, and I'm also an installer.
I'm Derek Kendrick, one of the owners. Been with Axium, been here 20-something years. Work with these guys every day. Been signing now for about 1.5 years with them.
I'm Derek. I'm with Axium, and I've been working for
22 years.
22 years, and I work with all these guys up here.
I'm Anthony Fernandez. I'm one of the project managers. I've been with Axium for about 22 years, a little bit less than him. Yep. It's been a pleasure working with these guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Now we're excited to ask you some questions. Never installed solar panels. So give us an idea to help us understand what your job looks like. What's a normal day on the job for you all? What does it look like?
Hot and long.
Hot and long.
Always hot.
Always hot. So do you work in the office at the computer? No, I'm outside. I'm outside in the sun. Sometimes I'm up on the roof if it's flat. Sometimes we're out in a rural area. Sometimes I'm on an incline or up at the top. Sometimes we're downtown. We could be in a parking garage. Really different settings. Shall I go ahead? Really, it's different. I'm a field service technician. We have people who schedule in the office to find the customer. We have a manager who sets the priorities, and we are then out in the field communicating with customers and scheduling their appointments. We have interactions with them, and then the true work gets then the real work gets happening and make sure. What I do is a little bit different. I'm with automated controls. We talk about what the needs are, what needs to be installed. We work with the thermostats, any kind of solar sensors that are needed. We work on the airflow. That's typically what's involved with our job. Do you mind if I add on that? We have 2 different kinds of work. They do the building systems. That industry is different than the Axium side, than the solar company.
And it comes under one
So
parent company.
really it's 2 companies under a parent company. So my piece is the Axium Control, which is more the internal, like the AC and the thermostats, and we can be on the roof a little bit.
We share.
And then we have the others that are more outside, setting up the more large solar equipment. And so we collaborate together.
I was just going to elaborate on that a little bit.
I'm just going to elaborate on that a little bit.
We share guys, so I mean, he'll work on solar some, or on the control side. But yes, it's like brother-sister company, so everybody knows everybody. And we're all together and we just share each other, you know, back and forth from job site to job site.
We work on the job site. So some of your work is in the office, some is on the job site, working with clients. You have direct service instead of and the installation. So there's different rules for different jobs. So thank you for helping us understand and get a better idea of what goes on. And now I understand that you have both deaf and hearing employees. You all work together. Communication is great. Now I want you to look back on when you first started working with the deaf workers. Had you ever met a deaf person before? Had you ever had a deaf person apply for the job?
We had grown up with a kid that I'd known that was deaf that I didn't really never learn sign language very good. He was good at reading lips, so we did okay. But as working the first time was with Kevin. So at first when I first started working with Kevin and stuff, I could tell when the first day I worked with him, there's a couple times he didn't understand what I had said. And I went and chased him down and said, hey, we're doing something, I tried to explain to him something different. That night, I went home and learned my ABCs. At least where I could spell, and I'd learned them overnight. I stayed on YouTube until I figured it out overnight, until we could at least start spelling. Then I started with work terms, wire, pipe, whatever, started to get stuff going, then safety. And then from there, it's just grown. But for the first time working with him, it's just at first I didn't know really what to do, and I know when I first told him the first time, I knew exactly when I told him when he walked off, he didn't know what I said was right. I knew it, and I thought I refused to hand back the phone back and forth texting either, so I wanted to make sure I learned, I wanted to make sure they understood me too.
My first experience was with Kevin also, and at first, it was I thought it'd be kind of hard, but reality, they're real aware of what's going on, and you can look at him and he can almost read your lips. At first, before I had this app, it was little, but it's just patience is a big thing, and I think, but it's rewarding and needed because you got good guys. I'm very happy with them. They bring me up when I'm around. They teach me every day. I go out there and I'm like, what are you going to teach me today? I learn from them like they learn from me, so I think it's a good experience for both of us. I'm happy to have them around, all out.
So my first experience was when Kevin basically hired me on, and I've always worked with deaf people my whole life, so it's really nothing new to me, but the first thing that I noticed was he was signing to me and he was telling me everybody's names. So one of the crew members, I just met him, but he introduced himself to me first because he thought I was deaf. So when he introduced himself to me, he was signing to me. He said, hello, my name is Taylor. And I said, oh, hi. I didn't sign to him though. And he's like, oh, you can hear. Yeah. And the first thing that I caught on, I was like, but wait, these guys know sign language. They don't know a lot of it, but they know a little bits and pieces of it. And it takes a lot of patience working with deaf people because, let's be honest, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. But as long as you have that little bit of patience in you and you take the time to actually learn little things like ABCs or just little words here and there, it's a big help because then things get so much done faster, everybody's on the same page, and deaf people aren't just left out. So it's just basically like everyone's deaf and everyone can hear. So that was my whole biggest thing working with them.
It's been fun, and I thought it would be a little bit harder than it is, but one thing that these guys do, they pay attention to details a lot better than any of the guys that can hear, that we've got. You show them something, they usually remember it the first time. And you're not having to repeat yourself and stuff like that. So they do pay very good attention to details, and that's one of the benefits, and it's great. So.
I remember myself when I was at the University of Texas learning sign language. If I saw a deaf person, I'd be frightened, I'd run away. I I never wanted to practice my sign language, so I really appreciate that you all are just, yeah, let's go ahead, let's get to it. Learning how to fingerspell or whatever it takes to communicate. You weren't shy or anything like that. All your inhibitions just went away. Now for the next question related to communication and technology strategies. What are some of these the techniques you use, the strategies to help with communication, even before and after work situations as well, on the job and before and after work? What are some of the strategies that you use that you really like? When we're at work, we do have tools and parts all over the place. And so often we do use the phone, but we could just, instead of using the phone, we just pick up the tool and show the tool. And you can see we rely on pointing and showing where it is and where is it going. We just show it. I say, look, here it is, and it's go there, and that's it. And I use gestures like finish and put it in there. You know, simple gestures. You know, we don't really need technology in those settings. Jason would like to follow on that. Yeah, that's right. It's really important. I mean, you have the tools, you have it ready, you have the blueprint, what you need to do, and everything, and you have a paper pen ready if you need to write back and forth. Do you have a paper pen too? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do that too. Whatever is necessary. I'm flexible.
Pretty much everything that we do, I've noticed, it's all just gestures. Panels.
We have panels.
Panels. If you just look at a brick is it's a rectangle, and you just do.
You just use a rectangle shape and you sign hard.
It's brick.
Brick.
Wires.
It's
It's a
for
string.
wires. It's the string. So we use like this.
So everything that we do, you just look at it and you just think, okay, nuts and bolts.
Everything you look at. Nuts and
So
bolts.
everything is, you already know sign language. You just have to look
Just look at it and then show what
and
it
just
does.
do it with your
Do it
hands.
with your hands.
You already do it with your hands anyways, so you just have to imagine it not in your hands.
Not have it in your actual hands.
That's just how I see
That's
it.
just how I see it. What helps is if we have experience working, it's easier to communicate and we can pick it up very quickly. If the people are already ready, they know what it looks like and they're ready to get going. Yeah, it's like you're the leader. That's my key. I wonder, before and after work communication. Derek was explaining to me before that many employees are second language learners. Maybe their first language is Spanish, or it could be they have another first language. So a deaf learner, a deaf student, deaf people would be the same. English would be their second language. So it's not always easy to communicate by email or texting back and forth. What helps you before and after work related to those type of language barriers? How do you notice those issues? Do they come up? And how do you resolve those issues?
I know me and Jason practice a lot via Skype, which helps, and just we practice a lot via Skype, or talk a lot via Skype, which helps me practice a lot. Watch a lot of videos. Just YouTube. There's so much stuff on YouTube to watch that you can learn so much. That's what I do. And my daughter watches a lot too, so we watch together. So it's and then working with these guys and with them every day is really is where I've learned the most. Being with them every day, working with them every day.
Every day, any class or anything, because you're learning the things you need to know on the job.
Yeah, and if we'll write something down, we'll say, show me the sign for it. Show me the sign for it. We'll try to remember it.
Yep.
Sometimes we forget or get confused, but
Just ask them again, they'll tell you.
yeah.
I've been working in this industry for 22 years, and back when I first started, I was working with Spanish speakers, And it was really the first time for the Spanish-speaking employee to be working with me as a deaf person. We worked on many projects, and they kept requesting me. And it's because we both had the same communication style. We pointed the blueprint, and we talked about what needed to be done. Whereas the hearing foreman or the boss would just speak. They didn't, and also didn't have patience. I have a lot of patience. We have patients working together. I understand that they speak a different language, and that's really key to understand and have good communication. Question, I'm going to change it up a little bit. The question this is the question on the slide is what we usually ask companies, but what particular challenges do you have or barriers that you notice is typically what we ask a company, but you all have already broken down a lot of those barriers. So I want to talk more about deaf game concept. Explain to me how the deaf employees and that diversity has really come to benefit your company.
I can see our guys come together a lot more on jobs. Come together, learning together. We go to lunch. We do learn stuff at lunch. We practice at lunch. You got a happier job site. You got they do bring up the spirit of the job site, 100%. Like, it's definitely a happier job site with the guys there. You know, whether it's just all us working together, of us wanting to learn, them wanting to help teach, or whatever it is, it's a happier job site.
It is, because you're back and forth learning, you know, the things, you know, it makes it fun for us, you know. I mean, we go out there and I enjoy these guys every day. I have fun with them, just teaching me something. Day-to-day basis, I try to learn something new every day from them. It's working, like it brings my attitude up, just because of your attitude. I mean, how could it not bring your attitude up?
Mikey will bring Scooby snacks to work. I want Mikey to hear that.
Wait, what was that?
He'll bring Scooby snacks to work.
Mikey likes to bring Scooby snacks to
Oh.
work.
Well, they're always there on time with a smile on their face, ready to learn. You know, that's one of the big things, you know. So it definitely brings the morale up with everybody.
Oh yeah. And then we do, I mean, we're pulling wire and stuff like that, labeling wires, pulling wires.
All your colors, everything.
Because we always have black wire, and every wire's got to be marked brown, brown, orange, yellow, different. So we'll tug on them, and they're 100 feet away, and they'll say yellow, and then we're yellow, or they're orange, and then we're doing orange. So, and that's from 50 or 100 feet away, yelling at each other, or not yelling, just signing. And then we can label wires too. We'll say 15 negative, 15 positive.
So it's more efficient.
It is more efficient.
With the welding company that's setting up a light system for safety. That safety light system helped everybody. Everybody on the welding floor uses earplugs. It's required. And even deaf people use the earplugs. It's kind of funny if you think about it. But the new safety system helps everybody. It benefits everyone. So everyone can use sign language, and then everyone can communicate with each other with the earplugs in. So we're finding that the more the things are visual, the more precision you have. Like the welder has a lot more precise. The deaf person tends to pay more attention to detail and have a lot more precision. It sounds like you're saying the same thing in your industry as well. That's very interesting. What advice do you have for other companies who are considering hiring deaf employees? What advice would you have for them?
Patience.
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 Don't be scared to give it a
Don't
chance.
be scared to give them a
Don't be
chance.
scared of missing out.
Don't miss out. I would tell the company to give us a chance. We want to show you what we can do. Some are not employed full-time. Some are, like myself. And I would want the company to see me working and meeting their standards. And I want that company to be comfortable and to see what I have to contribute. They may have their own opinion, but I just want the opportunity to show them. That's what I would tell the company. Jason has a comment. My advice as an electrician, an expert electrician over 20 years and owning my own company, they see deaf people as disabled. They have misconception, like, can deaf people drive? You know, there's lots of misconception regarding safety issues and performance. But there can be accommodations made to accommodate a deaf employee.